The modern relationship is struggling. But why? How did things become so messy with dating? Have you ever seen those videos on social media where elderly couples are interviewed about how they met and what made their relationship last? I love those videos for two reasons. First, their stories are almost too bizarre to believe. You'll hear an old gentleman named Albert say, "I saw Betsy across the neighborhood swimming hole when I was 16, and I knew she was the one for me." Then Betsy will chime in, "Well, I played hard to get, but I loved him from day one." Then Albert goes off to war, returns, and the first thing they do is get married, and they've been together ever since. Second, and more importantly, these stories prove that real love exists in ordinary life, not just in the scripted world of movies and TV. Whenever I check the comments on these videos, I see two types of reactions. Some people long for that kind of love, while others ask, why doesn't this happen anymore? Why do modern relationships feel so broken? There are many reasons, but to me, the biggest one is social media. Shocking, right? But I genuinely believe many modern relationship issues start before a relationship even begins. Social media has convinced us that love has a measuring stick, that if we don't meet certain criteria, we aren't worthy of love. The internet is quick to criticize people for their looks, personality, or perceived flaws. If you absorb too much of this negativity, it alters how you see yourself. Over time, you might start believing those criticisms are valid, making you doubt your own worthiness of love. I know this feeling firsthand. When I was younger, I was really skinny, and I hated how people constantly pointed it out. If social media had been what it is today, with an endless stream of comments reinforcing my insecurities, my self-confidence would have been even worse. And on top of that, we compare ourselves to influencers who seem to have everything: money, looks, status. Seeing this daily makes us feel inferior. Social media is great at showing us how good we don't have it. Another issue is the unrealistic standards we set for potential partners. Both men and women are guilty of this. Some women claim their man must be over 6 feet tall and make six figures, while some men shame women who don't meet their ideal body type. Even if you don't consciously do this, social media subtly feeds you an idea of the perfect partner. Over time, you may start believing you need someone who checks every box, not necessarily for your own happiness, but to meet societal expectations. And then there's adult content. This is incredibly damaging, especially for men, because it distorts how they view relationships, attraction, and intimacy. If you consume too much of it, you may develop unrealistic expectations about what a woman should look like or how relationships should function. This can make real-life interactions feel foreign or disappointing. All of this leads to skyrocketing relationship expectations. Social media has tricked us into believing that true love is effortless, that if it's meant to be, it should always feel easy. But that's not reality. Relationships require sacrifices. No, they shouldn't be constant struggles, but they do demand effort, compromise, and accountability. Take it from a married guy. My wife often asks me to do things I don't care about, like seeing a play. It would be easy to say no, but I go because I value her happiness. She recognizes that sacrifice, and that mutual effort strengthens our bond. Real relationships aren't about finding someone who makes everything effortless. They're about finding someone who makes the effort worth it. I don't have statistics to back this up, but I genuinely believe people have lost touch with what a real relationship looks and feels like, largely due to social media's distortions. If you're watching this, you probably feel the same way. So what can we do? Instead of constantly analyzing what makes a good partner, we should focus on being one. Self-improvement isn't just about attracting the right person. It's about becoming someone worthy of a healthy relationship. And even if love doesn't come immediately, at least you've grown for yourself. And most importantly, try anyway. You are capable of being loved. There are still people who believe in real relationships. Yes, dating can be exhausting, especially when you keep meeting the wrong people. But don't let that harden you. Keep putting yourself out there. There's an old saying, putting your heart out there is never a mistake. Never let your heart become callous. That stuck with me for years. So take what you see on social media with a grain of salt, including this advice. But if just a few people apply this mindset, maybe, just maybe, two people will meet, fall in love, and prove that real relationships still exist. And if that happens, I guess I'll have become an accidental matchmaker. Relationships today are messy, but if you find the right person, the effort, the sacrifices, and the challenges won't feel like burdens. Instead, you'll wonder how you ever got along without them. Modern relationships face a variety of challenges that reflect changes in society, technology, and individual expectations. Here are some key problems. Communication issues. Misunderstandings can arise from reliance on digital communication, texts, social media, rather than face-to-face conversations. This can lead to conflict and feelings of disconnection. Technology and social media. The influence of social media can create jealousy and insecurity. Couples may compare their relationships to idealized portrayals online, leading to dissatisfaction. Work-life balance. With the rise of remote work and the expectation of constant availability, finding a balance between professional and personal life can strain relationships. Commitment phobia. Many individuals, particularly younger generations, may struggle with commitment due to fear of vulnerability or past experiences, leading to issues in long-term relationships. Different expectations. Partners may have differing views on important topics like marriage, children, or financial management, which can lead to conflict if not addressed early on. Mental health. Increased awareness of mental health issues can affect relationships. Partners may need to navigate their own or each other's mental health challenges, which can be difficult. Cultural and generational differences. As society becomes more diverse, relationships may encounter challenges stemming from differing cultural backgrounds or generational values. Infidelity and trust issues. The ease of online interactions can lead to emotional infidelity or breaches of trust, complicating relationships. Lack of conflict resolution skills. Many people are not taught healthy ways to resolve conflicts, which can lead to unresolved issues and resentment over time. Financial stress. Economic pressures, such as student debt or housing costs, can create tension in relationships, especially when partners have different spending habits or financial goals. Addressing these issues often requires open communication, mutual respect, and a willingness to adapt and grow together as a couple. Well, I believe relations today are more about hookups than commitments. Many clients visit me with the problem where either their partner is not ready to commit, be it for marriage or some other decision of relationship. I'm not completely denying that true love doesn't exist. It does. However, the kind of relationship problems I come across each day is bizarre. Modern-day relationships have become a joke for many. Nowadays, people are looking only for thrill and excitement in the name of love. People just want someone to watch movies or hang out with, not someone who can understand us. Love is a beautiful feeling, and it is very difficult to be described in words. We can say that love has become just a word without emotions and feelings. There are several reasons why modern relationships fail. A very old friend of mine was in a relationship with a tall and handsome guy for 6 years. They were both well settled and independent. They enjoyed each other's company, and everyone in our friend circle would desire to find a love like theirs. However, one day there was a knock at my door around 2 noon. As I went to the door to check, my friend was standing there in a very disturbed condition. Her eyes were swollen because of crying, and she was in a pathetic condition. I brought her in and asked what was the problem. To this, she replied, "He left. We broke up." When I asked her what reason he gave or why he took such a critical step, I was amazed to hear the reply. The guy ended a 6-year relationship saying, "I don't have feelings for you." You see how easy it is for some people to give up if they feel any sort of love. Leaving someone you've been together with for 6 years requires effort. People today are afraid of committing. They find it easier to run away from the relationship rather than mending the odds. In my experience of being a life coach and counseling many relationship problems, I have found these to be some of the most common modern relationship problems. Tired of being single. Yes, it is one of the main reasons that people come into a relationship. Most people today are just tired of being single and want the committed tag. It is better to be single than to have a fake relationship. But modern couples don't understand this and end up getting nowhere. Don't indulge yourself in a fake relationship just because you are tired of being single. Take your time and prepare yourself for commitment rather than hurting someone else's feelings. Lust before love. It is one of the most common reasons why modern relationships fail. People think it is love, but most of the time it is just lust that they crave. People are more attracted to the body of the other person and not the soul. We really need to understand the difference between love and lust. Understanding each other is the key, and there should be space for love. Once you can understand each other's emotions, physical relations will develop automatically. Lack of commitments. As mentioned earlier, it is another big reason why a lot of modern relationships come to an end. Couples today are afraid to make commitments. They promise thousands of things, but when it comes to fulfilling those promises, they fail to do that. I have seen many people end their long relationships when it comes to marriage. It is easy to make promises, but it takes a lot of courage to fulfill the commitments. The young generation is scared. It may sound funny, but this is true. This generation is too scared to fall in love, too scared to commit, too scared to get hurt, and even more scared to get heartbroken. We are scared to bare our soul to anyone, and if we find someone, we just run away from that. We let go of the most wonderful people in our lives just because we are too afraid. Many people break their own hearts before their partner would. It takes courage to love. While being in a relationship, you have to be prepared for ups and downs. Impact of social media. Social media has brought us so much closer, but at the same time, it is also one of the biggest reasons why modern relationships fail. We are so busy spending time on social media that we don't even give ourselves enough time and forget about personal life, which also leads to a lack of communication between the couples. The picture stalking, messages, and flirting on social media make the relationship much weaker. We think of it as just social media, but it has a really big impact on our personal life. We need to create a balance between our personal life and social media and also take the relationship seriously. These were some genuine modern-day relationship problems that people came up with for me. I hope this young generation looks upon their parents and some successful relationships to know how wonderful relationships and love is.